Hey there, I'm Amy Connell, and welcome to the Graced Health Podcast. I'm a certified personal trainer who wants you to know your eating, movement, and body don't have to be perfect. You just need to be able to do what you are called to do. This podcast is for women who want simple and grace-filled ways to take care of themselves and enjoy a little chocolate in the process. Every now and then, I come across a business and I'm just blown away. Special Strong is one of those. And as I've mentioned before, one of my favorite aspects of podcasting is the ability to call someone and invite them on to learn more. It's not weird if it's a podcast interview. It's a little weird otherwise. If you haven't heard of Special Strong, I cannot wait to introduce to them today. Let's talk about social media for a second. I am on and off social media sometimes. Sometimes I'm really into it and I really enjoy hanging out on Instagram or on Facebook. And sometimes I'm not so much into that. This is actually one of those times that I'm not. But the one thing I do really like about social media, despite some of the downfalls it has, is discovering businesses and people that I may not have otherwise. I first learned of Special Strong on Instagram, and it's now an account that is 100% guaranteed to make me smile. I mean, I am grinning over here just even thinking about their feed. Special Strong serves the special needs population in several ways, including providing personal training. I mean, you guys, if you want to see the look of joy and confidence spread over someone's face, go check them out on Instagram. And I'm going to be linking to all of this below. Special Strong seeks to empower the mind, body, and spirit of the special needs population with the strength and confidence to live a more independent and abundant life. In 2011, Daniel Stein felt called to train children, adolescents, and adults with special needs. He is certified through the same organization I am, the National Academy of Sports Medicine, which is NASM, plus the National Federation of Personal Trainers. He's becoming a certified inclusive fitness trainer and specializes in health and fitness for the special needs population. So he took all of this, and in 2016, Daniel and his wife Trinity started Special Strong. Special Strong operates with Christian values from the Bible, which drives everything they do. Since the launch of Special Strong, their team has been able to improve the lives of hundreds of clients affected by just a wide range of special needs: autism, Asperger's, Down syndrome, ADD, ADHD, cerebral palsy, spinal cord injuries, stroke victims, obesity. I mean, so many more. It is their desire to expand Special Strong into new markets with the desire to effect positive changes in as many lives as possible. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Donna Lankford, the office manager for Special Strong and the mother of a special needs child. Her son, Chris, is 25 and was diagnosed with autism at 17, though it was apparent within the first 6 months that he was developing differently than other babies his age. She also has 3 other children ranging from 13 to 28. As the office manager, she speaks with new and existing clients, manages the online tools, and gives support to their trainers. Even if you are not personally affected by someone with special needs, you probably know someone who is. So today we dig into Special Strong, but I also veer a little off and ask some of the questions I've always wondered, like, what should I do when I see someone who appears to have special needs and they're having a meltdown in Target? What to say to those mamas? And more importantly, I learned what not to say. I know you're going to really enjoy this conversation. Listen in and then go check out Special Strong, especially if you're on Instagram. I'm telling you, it's just pure joy. Okay, let's bring on Donna. Donna, thank you so much for coming on to the Grace Health podcast today to help me really learn just about Special Strong. This is my very favorite thing about podcasting is I have the opportunity to reach out to people and to entities that I admire and I'm watching and just say, hey, can we have a conversation about this? Because if I just called you all and said, hey, can I learn about this? It might be a little strange. So thank you for coming on.
Oh, well, and I just have to thank you for reaching out to Special Strong and just taking that extra step and being willing to talk to us so that we can help others out there know about our services and what we have to offer the special needs community.
Yes, you are doing such great things. I learned about Special Strong through Instagram, and I'm not really, sometimes you get connected through people on Instagram, and I really don't even know how. But I have been watching, and it is so cool to see, and just the joy and the excitement on everybody's faces, the trainers as well as the clients. And so I'm really excited to talk about that some today. Before we dig into that, can you just tell me a little bit and tell my listeners a little bit about Special Strong, what it is, the origins of it, and all of that kind of good stuff?
Yes, I would be happy to. The company was started in 2016 by Daniel Stein and his wife, Trinity. But before that is what led up to him answering the call of God to open this company. He grew up with ADHD and had struggles with that and found that exercise really helped him. And once he started exercising, he was able to kind of get more organized with his life. It really had a huge impact on him. And as he grew up and became an adult, he became a personal trainer and was very, very successful with that. But he felt the call of God on him to switch his focus to the special needs community. And his experience was his own with how exercise helped him, but he did not have a lot of experience with all the different disabilities we serve now. So it really came down just to obeying what God had asked him to do. And so, like I said, 2016 is when they started here in the North Dallas area, and it's grown quickly because the need is so great.
Yes, I'm sure it is, and I love how you say that he was just obeying what God called
Yeah.
him to do, and then it has grown from there. That reminds me
Yes.
of a quote my pastor said one time to us. He said, "I didn't set out to be successful. I just wanted to be faithful." And
There you go.
now our church has like 6 or 7,000 members. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just being
Mm-hmm.
obedient to that is
Yes.
so critical. Tell me, now I know that you were started in McKinney. So tell me
Yes.
a little bit about where you are, how the actual functions of
Okay.
Special Strong operates in terms of like, does it have its own gym? Do you partner
Mm-hmm.
out with existing ones? Can
Mm-hmm.
you help me understand that a little bit more?
Yes. So we do not have our own facility. We partner with gyms in the area, not every gym, but certain gyms that we have an agreement with. And our trainers will meet their client in the gym that's in the area where the client lives. So we hire trainers, interview them really extensively, make sure that they not only are skilled in personal training, but also have a heart for this community. In fact, that's the first question I ask is why? Why do you want to work with this community? And it's a very involved interview process. But they then they're when they're hired and we have a new client who would like to get training, then we partner that new client up with the trainer in that area, and then they meet them at a partner gym um, in the town that the client lives in.
Okay. Okay, that's great. So you just hire the trainers individually, and then okay, I got it. And they partner up. That's
Yes.
really cool. One of
Yeah.
the things that I really admire and really love about Special Strong is the strong faith-based values. Can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Um, Definitely it's on the website. It's you talk to Daniel, talk to any of us. It is based on God's word. We don't require our trainers or our clients to be believers, but that is how the company is based. And if you look at the website, there's an acronym for STRONG, and it's all based on scripture. And so the S is for stewardship, and we believe to be strong stewards of what God has given us to help this community, based on Luke 16:10, which says, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can be also trusted with much more." And transparency is John 8:32, just knowing the truth, and truth will set you free. We want to be very transparent and honest with our customers and deliver more than they are even asking for. And then the R is for relationship focused. We do have relationships with our clients. It's a different kind of relationship than a trainer would have with the typical client. And we really want to honor that relationship with them as a person created in the image of God for a purpose on this earth. Then O is for ownership. And we take absolute ownership of our company and what we do for our clients. We're very committed to our own personal growth and the growth of our clients. And we like honest feedback from our clients. We're non-judgmental. We do not judge anybody. And we are very sensitive to the fact that our clients are extremely unique, and we will train them individually for what their goals and focus are. So there's no judgment in our company. And then the G is generosity. And that's on 2 Corinthians 9:6, which states, "Whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, but whoever sows bountifully will also reap bountifully." And that's what we want for our clients. So it's very faith-based. Again, he followed God's lead, and we pray before our meetings. Everything is about giving back to God and honoring him. But we don't require our clients or our trainers to share our faith.
That makes a lot of sense. And I think too, we can show God's love and we can be his hands and feet without ever mentioning his name. And
So true.
And that is where oftentimes we have our own, we can provide ministry without even talking about Jesus. It's just treating others like he treated.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So very much the core of this company is to bring honor to our Father in heaven, and to treat his people with kindness and respect, and with an understanding that their disability is not who they are. They are a child of God.
Amen. That's fantastic. When clients come to you,
Mm-hmm.
what do they expect? And you kind of made reference to this just a second ago. And then what do you see what they receive? Because my guess is if they're coming to you trying to, say, improve their balance physically,
Mm-hmm.
my guess is
Mm-hmm.
they leave with a whole lot more than better physical
Mm-hmm.
balance. So can you
Mm-hmm.
help me understand a little bit more about the holistic approach, and what what are some of the other non-tangible benefits that the
Mm-hmm.
clients and their families may
Mm-hmm.
receive?
Yes. Well, I have the privilege of being the office manager, so I get to talk to the new clients calling in, which is probably my favorite part of this job because I love the community. And they call in for a variety of reasons. Um, obviously looking for help for their son or daughter, but they're hesitant because they need to make sure that whatever they introduce their son or daughter to is safe for them. So we do a lot of talking about how our trainers are very well versed in the special needs community and how they work with the individual. We also require them to fill out an extensive background sheet on the client, so the trainer has as much knowledge as they can have before meeting with that client. And that kind of goes into, what are they looking for? Do they need strength in their muscles so they can walk again? Or do they need balance? Or do they need to lose weight? Do they have diabetes? I mean, it runs the gamut. And so we get all that information, and then we tailor the training to meet those goals that the parents have. And so, of course, that's the goal, and that's what we accomplish. But outside of that, there's so much more, because our clients, once they become adults, can become very sedentary and isolated. Because when you're out of school, depending on where you live, there generally isn't a lot for this community to do. So it's not just they get to come and get healthy, but they get to come and have their own thing that's
Mm-hmm.
outside of doing things with mom and dad or siblings. It's something they can take ownership of and be proud of. And it filters into everyday life. If they are healthier, they're more inclined to want to participate in other activities. They're more confident in their abilities. They're not as hesitant to try new things. Even in sports, a lot of our clients are Special Olympians, and they see the payout when they're playing their sports. They're more focused, and they're more confident in their abilities. So yes, we want to train people and get them healthy, but it's so much more than that. And what else they get is just as needed as just the physical fitness.
I love that. And I think you bring up a good point. We have some family friends who had a son or has a son who has Down syndrome.
Mm,
And he is now in his late 30s, I think, or
okay.
maybe mid 30s or something like that. And the mom was sharing that he really suffered from pretty deep depression once
Sure.
he turned 21
Yeah.
and aged out of the public school system, because then
Yeah.
his routine was gone,
Yeah.
his connections was gone. He had
Hmm.
a little bit difficult time communicating verbally,
Yes.
and that was, and she was saying there's really not a whole lot of resources. And of course this was, I don't know, around 15 years ago, and hopefully
Right.
it's gotten a little bit better, but
Right.
that the resources available aren't there. So how often do you see clients? I mean, I have to imagine it's individualized and some are
Hmm.
more frequent than others, but do you have a
Right.
recommendation on how often to meet those clients? Because I think that is, sorry, I'm kind of going all over the place here, but I'm in my mid 40s. Most of my listeners are within my age, plus or minus 10 years. And so most of us have teenagers, but
Right.
looking beyond, special needs doesn't stop after
No.
at high school, and you have to
No.
keep looking to how to help them grow and be their best self
Right.
once they're out of that once they've aged out of the public system.
Right. Yes. And that is a huge need in our community. And yes, it is much better, but it's not great. And it's there's so many dynamics to it. But I'll go back to the question first on how we determine the training schedule for our clients. We always offer a free first session based on all the information we have. The trainer will go in, they will greet our client, and then they will greet the parents, because the special needs individual is our client, and that's who we work with, although we need to very much communicate with the parents.
Hmm.
Um, and they will put them through a free session based on what their goals are. And then they send to the caregivers or the parents their recommendations and observations. And so in that is when they will recommend, maybe this client can only handle one session a week. That's it. Anything more, we're going to move backwards. Or maybe they can do 2 sessions a week, and they need that if you want these goals accomplished. So it's very individualized to that particular client, what their stamina is and what they can accomplish. So I can't tell you what in general we have, because it varies so very much, but it is for that client individually. And then we also have group classes, and that meets a need of socialization. And some just do group classes, some do a combination, and some just do one-on-one, depending on what the client can do. So they get what they need. Each one of them gets what they need from their trainer. But like you were saying, outside of high school, parents struggle with how to keep their child engaged. And like you said, your neighbor, depression is common and anxiety is common in our community, because everybody is created for a purpose. And sometimes it's not always easy to find and then to make that purpose available, but they are created that way. And if they don't have an outlet, it can lead to depression. So parents struggle with finding activities for their kids. And that's why just even once a week with a trainer is huge, or once a week with a group class when you're with your peers, and that is your own thing. Your parents aren't doing it with you. um, Help solve some of those issues. And then that opens doors when you're sitting with other special needs parents and you get to talk. And you go, oh, well, my son also does this. Maybe your son would like that. And it opens those doors to more activities and more opportunities for the community. But yes, it can be very isolating once they become adults, and we like to help address that issue too.
And I have to imagine I have to imagine the time that they have just with the personal trainer or just with the community, basically without parents, is
Yeah.
is probably really
Yes.
appreciated because
Yes.
it's such a partnership. It's not something, those who have children, who are more typical, well, okay, we know that when they get out of high school, they're either going to college, they're getting a
Right.
job, they're doing
Right.
something like that. And then the relationship evolves. It doesn't mean that it
Yes.
stopped as a parent, but
Right.
parenting a special needs child is a lifelong
Lifelong.
obligation. And,
Yes.
and they probably love that time without mom or
Yes.
dad around, I have to imagine.
Absolutely. Because they are young adults.
Hmm.
Cognitively, they may not be able to function at 21, but yet they are 21 and they've seen their peers go off to college or they've seen their sister get married. And it's confusing for it can be very, very confusing. Some may just say, I'm going to get married and move out because that's what they see others doing. And yet they don't have the capability to do that. So it's definitely a lifelong commitment for the parents, and even more than lifelong because you have to prepare your child for when you are gone.
Hmm.
So to have a group class where they get to go and be with other people is even a break for the parent, but also it's such a joy to see them have their own thing because that's what our kids all want is to enjoy their own life with their own thing. So it's a huge win, not just for the client, but also for the parents.
I'm sure. So can we stay on this thread of the parents?
Uh-huh.
I have several friends who have special needs kids, and I
Oh,
probably
okay.
most people I have to imagine most people can name at least, one or so who they know. But
Sure.
and watching them and depending on where their child is, I mean, their day is filled
Yeah.
with either therapy appointments. I mean, I have one friend who spent hours on the phone
Yeah.
with insurance
Oh
every
gosh.
single day, not just
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, just it is a totally different dynamic, and I
Yes.
know that for parents, it can be very, very isolating. How
Yes.
how can people be supportive? How can they do something for parents of special needs children? And I say parents, but it might be that you have a sibling who you're caring
Right.
for. So I do
Right.
want to recognize that it's broad, but
Yes.
again, I have parents on the mind here.
Well, I have to say thank you for asking this question because I know um, people do want to help. They love their friends. They see their friends going through all this stuff, and of course, they don't know how to help because they don't live that life. And before I became a special needs parent, I didn't know. So it's such a blessing to have friends who want to help, but in reality, they're never really going to understand what it's like. And so, one thing I would actually recommend, and I hope it doesn't sound harsh, but please don't ever say anything like, I just don't know how you do it. Only God gives special people to special parents.
Hmm.
Because what else are you going to do? Not do it?
Right.
I mean, I know it sounds like a compliment, but it's like, what do you think I'm going to do? Not take care of my own child? Of course I am. And I love my child. Um, and I know people's hearts are in the right place, but sometimes that's just hard to hear because it's, like I said, it's like you're going to do it because you love that child. And yes, it is overwhelming, or like your friend who's on the phone all day long. It's exhausting. It's a full time job for a lot of parents. So, to be supportive really is just to understand that's hard, and to give some relief if the child is disabled to the point that maybe a friend couldn't, watch that child for an hour so the mom could go grab a Starbucks. Maybe you could help with the other kids, like offer to take, the other son to and from softball practice. So the mom doesn't have to be also trying to figure out that too. Um, or even if you're just over there and you're having a conversation, be really relaxed and not get, impacted by maybe a child who screams or whatever. Just let that family know that you're very comfortable with it. And if you're not, nobody expects you to be. Nobody
Yeah.
does. We get that. So to be supportive, you don't have to fix the situation. These parents understand very deeply what their situation is. They're not asking anyone to fix it. They wouldn't give up their child for nothing. They don't feel like they got the short end of the stick. But I do find that as a special needs parent, being with other special needs parents really addresses those kind of needs because my other friends don't get it. And so I would just say, just let them know you're there for them,
Mhm.
but don't try to fix the situation because it's not fixable.
That makes a lot of sense. As you were talking, I didn't want to interrupt, but when you said, not saying things like, "I don't know how you do
Oh,
it,"
yeah,
what are some appropriate, encouraging words or
yeah,
phrases to say to let them know, I admire you," but
yeah.
without being condescending
Well,
or
and and honestly, we all get that, but I think just a hug and saying, you know, good for you. Or, I wouldn't even say the old standby, I'm praying for you. I would assume you're praying for, you know,
Mhm.
but just let them know I get it. And I appreciate that you're so dedicated to your child. You are doing a good job. And
Yeah.
if you need a break and I can help you with a break this way, just let me know and
Yeah.
mean it, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Um, it's okay to acknowledge that, don't hide from it. I understand your son has spina bifida, is in the wheelchair, and you're going to be caring for him the rest of your life. But you're doing a really good job, and I appreciate how dedicated you are. Not like because the other ones kind of sound like, "Ooh, I dodged a bullet." You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
oh, that's a great point.
yeah, and I think I have 4 kids, and I never asked. I didn't raise my hand. God, please give me one of them that has special needs. Nobody does that. But through his grace, it's the best thing, so not to assume that we're all sitting here struggling and wishing it was different. We
That's
may
a
wish
great
it was
point.
easier on our kid, or we may get to points where it's like, I can't do this another second, and then you do. But that's like in any family,
Right.
if
That's
we're
exactly
honest.
what I was thinking. A lot of the words
Yeah,
that you're saying, I'm thinking this
yep,
is so true of any parent.
it really
We
is.
all need to hear, "You're doing a great job,"
Yeah,
because,
yeah,
I've got 2 healthy boys who are
mhm,
smart and all of that, and
yeah.
dadgummit if it's not really hard sometimes.
Exactly, and if they're teenagers, I
Yeah.
mean, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's so valid, and I could look at you, and if you're having something struggling with your son who doesn't have a disability, I'd still wanna say, "Good job. Good
Yeah.
job not giving in," or whatever, because we're parents, and then we're parents to a special needs kid, so it is very different, but it's not all that different, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And if
Yeah,
I may ask, and I know this is not special strong focused, but if I may ask from just someone who wants to always make sure that others feel loved,
uh-huh,
when we watch. Sometimes we are out, I've been at
yes,
schools or, at Target or whatever, and you can see, and you see this oftentimes in children maybe on the spectrum of autism
right,
who have very verbal outbursts,
yes,
whether it's the banging of the head or the screaming,
yeah,
and I've been
yeah,
able to identify, I'm like, okay, he's I think he may be on the spectrum, and
yeah,
maybe I shouldn't assume, but, if you know enough to know,
well, yes,
what are the right what's the right response to something like that? Because,
yeah,
I don't wanna ignore and come
mhm,
across as someone who doesn't care, but I
right,
also don't want the parent to think like, "Oh, well, she doesn't think that I can do this." I mean, it's just like
exactly,
there's one of those situations like, I want to show that I care, but I don't know the right way to do it without
right,
offending. So do you have
right.
any suggestions for that?
And I have to say in the special needs community, we talk about that too, because I'm kind of in that same boat. I can see something going on and I get it and I've lived it, but I don't want to, first and foremost, that mother knows what she's doing. She knows what it's going to take to regroup, get that kid back. And if you go up and try to help, you may be interrupting a process, and
That's
that
a
is
great
not
point.
helpful.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
and I hear that a lot from other moms. It's like, it's hard, it's embarrassing, and it's overwhelming in a store. But if you go up with all good intentions and want to help, let's face it, if you don't have a special needs kid, or even if you do, you don't know what's going to help that kid. So the only thing I could suggest is really, I don't think it's a bad thing to ignore and keep walking, because then she's got one less person she thinks is looking at her. But if you do take eye contact, give her a smile, say you got this, and keep going. Or the only other situation, if she's got more than one kid, and maybe she's got a toddler that's running off and she's trying to deal with a 5-year-old melting down, you could probably help with redirecting that toddler. But for the most part, the best support you could give is a nice smile and keep moving, because she's got a lot on her plate to bring back to reality, even if it's kicking and screaming out the door to the car and coming back to Target another day.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, because you don't want to add additional
No.
burden on them of thinking,
Yep.
okay, well, now I have to respond to this stranger who's saying
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for educating me on that. I
Mhm.
really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to go back to Special Strong here.
Okay.
So, if someone is interested in participating in Special Strong, how can I know you're established in the Dallas area
Yeah.
right now, but
Yeah.
how can they go about doing this? And then I also do have some fitness professionals who listen to this podcast. So, if this is kind of touching the soul of someone, of a
Yeah.
fitness professional who might like to get involved, what could they do to help
Okay.
lend their expertise in this area?
Okay. This is great. Well, first of all, I will say, like you said, we're in North Dallas area. Is it okay if I give my phone number?
Absolutely. Hey, whatever you're
Okay.
comfortable with.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, first thing you could always do is just call me. My name's Donna, and the office manager. Our number here is 972-836-8463. And you can call me with any question, or if you just want more information, or if you would like to try a free personal training session, anything, just call me.
And
We are
we'll link that. Sorry to interrupt, but we will link that in the show notes so everybody has it.
awesome. Okay, awesome. Um, so starting there, we would talk, we would determine the needs of your child and what you're looking for, and then we would figure out if we had a good place for that child. And I do want to point out that we don't take everybody, because our goal is to help our clients. And some clients, we can't make sure that they're going to be safe. So, I mean, if we have a runner who we can't get refocused enough to do a workout, that's not safe for that client. Um, or if we have a client who just is not in a place yet that they want to respond to some direction from a trainer, that's not someone we're going to take. We do take most, but I just want to throw that out there, that our goal is to help the client. And if we cannot help the client safely, then that we're not a good fit.
That makes
Um,
sense. Yeah.
yeah, a quick conversation will bring that to light. And so if you're in this area, please call me, or you can go onto our website, which is just specialstrong.com. And there's a lot of information on there. You can connect with me there also. So please do that. Even if you just have questions, please. I just left talking to the parents. So go ahead and give me a call. We also have, or Daniel, the owner, created a training program for personal trainers, or even parents can take this and learn how to train the special needs population. And you can find that at the website certifystrong.com.
Got it.
And it's accredited. If you are a personal trainer, this will give you credit. It's very, very professional. He did a really good job with this. So again, if you are a trainer and you want to learn more, please go there and take that class. If you're a parent who would prefer to work with their own child, you can take that class too. But it's really, really helpful to learn kind of more in depth of ways to connect with this community and how to correctly train them. So there is that. And Daniel just launched our franchise program, which means we are, like I said, in Dallas. I think the farthest call I ever got was Australia. I've
Wow.
been contacted by Germany, by England. The need is everywhere. And so he decided, instead of trying to get everywhere, he would franchise this. And so people can partner with Special Strong through a franchise and open up your own wherever you're at and start your own Special Strong. So there's different ways of getting involved. Again, we're a fairly new company here, but the need is great. And so he's addressing these needs through these different avenues. Either, come join us here, or you can open a franchise, or you can get your own certification and start training people with that kind of on your resume.
Okay. That sounds great. I love the growth that you are
Yeah.
experiencing and looking forward or looking to for sure.
Yeah.
That's great. Can we talk a little bit about the nutrition counseling you offer?
Yeah.
As a fitness professional and just kind of a nutrition nut in general.
Uh-huh.
Not to say that I do it right all the time. I certainly don't.
Yeah.
Uh, but obviously the food we eat has such a huge impact on our physical health, our mental health.
Yeah.
And I know that there's some additional challenges within the
Yeah.
special needs community. I mean, if they may have it may not be an issue because they may have the word just a G tube, right? That's what
Oh,
it's
right.
called.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But some may be able to chew and eat their food, but they have really strong texture
Yeah.
issues or,
Yeah.
other challenges swallowing. So how do you work around those and how do you help parents get
Hmm.
as many nutrient dense foods in their kid's body that the child will or young
Eat.
adult will eat? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's such a super good question. I think that's why Daniel included a nutritionist on our staff, because it is for our clients, for the majority of them, what they eat is very limited. What they like is very limited. And you address texture is a huge one, but so is just the taste of foods. And so is just familiarity. And so we do have a nutritionist. We do offer a free nutrition consult to our new clients. And again, that's going to be super individual to what the parents are looking for and what the needs are. We had a not a young man, he was probably 40. His mother had him working out, but also had the nutrition aspect because he also had diabetes. And she was just at a loss as to how to help him. And so it is going to be very tailored to what they're looking for. And I would have to say it's not overnight success because you're not really dealing with like choice. Like you said, I could get up today and say, oh, I'm going to eat good all day. Oh no, maybe I'll start tomorrow. It's not really like that. It's very much routine driven, and I like what I like and I don't like what I don't like. So it's more of a process of working through changing those eating habits. And she does a really good job of meeting the client where they're at and helping the parent take these steps towards success. But they're going to be small steps and they could take over time. Um,
That was exactly what I was thinking, and I thought, "I bet those are baby steps." Because when you said
yeah,
familiarity, that just
yeah,
rings such a bell in my mind, and I
mhm,
know that there are, I again, friends, but it's like, I only eat this, or
yeah,
that it's breakfast and this is what I have for breakfast
yeah,
and I won't have anything else, or
every
it
day.
might yeah, yeah, or the bitterness and vegetables are probably hard for
Yeah,
a lot of the your population. So, yeah, I mean,
right.
my gosh, it is hard enough, again,
Yeah,
2 healthy
truly.
teenage boys. It is
That's
hard
right.
enough,
Yep.
particularly for one of them's fine, but to get to get vegetables down him and
Yeah.
then adding on some layers of additional
Uh-huh.
challenges, I mean, that's a lot, that's
Right.
a lot, even and it's probably more challenging to, reason, but if you eat
Oh,
this, you'll
yeah.
feel so much better.
There's not a whole lot of reasoning. I would
Yeah.
just personal experience. I mean, um, even if they have the ability to understand it's good for them, it is very hard to get past if it's a texture thing or a smell thing or a taste thing. That is going to be a huge roadblock, even if they can cognitively understand, my body needs this carrot. So it's baby steps and it's creativity. And sometimes it's just, you just pick your battles. You
Yeah,
just,
that's
you
very
know,
true. That's very
yeah.
true. Yeah. Donna, I have really enjoyed this. Thank you
Oh,
so much for coming on, for
yeah.
educating me, educating my community. And I really encourage listeners to go out there, follow Special Strong on Instagram.
Thank
They
you.
are doing amazing work. Every time I see one of the videos, because you guys post videos of the things that your clients are doing, and
Yes.
I am grinning from ear to
Oh,
ear
good.
every single time I
Perfect.
see something, because you can just see the joy
Yes.
and the pride in their
Yes.
faces. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I tell you what,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we all need to lift me up.
Absolutely.
And this is a great one to follow. So thank you so
Okay.
much for your time. I
Oh,
greatly appreciate it. How
oh, and
can
I
we
thank you.
yeah. Well, how can we tell us where to get a hold of Special Strong? I will put your phone number down in the show notes.
Okay.
I'll put the Certify Strong and Special Strong
Mm-hmm.
both.com.
Yeah.
Any other resources? What socials are you on?
Oh
Just kind
gosh,
of
we are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and I can get you those addresses. And I'm going to add one more. We also have Unlock Strong, just Unlock Strong, and that website covers the franchise model and can take you to the other sites.
okay.
So,
Got it. Got it. Yeah, I
yeah.
think I've seen that one too.
Okay.
So, all
Okay.
right. Well, anything else? Any final words that you would love to leave my listeners with regards to keeping their special needs loved ones strong, physically, mentally, emotionally?
Oh, I have to thank you for this opportunity just to kind of share our world with your listeners. And again, remember, we're all created in the image of God for a purpose created by Him. And I know it's sometimes hard to see people with disabilities, but like anybody you see out there, when you look at their face, you're looking at the face of God. And just if very least, just say a quick prayer for those families, and just extra strength and extra patience, and open up your own mind to the fact that it may be difficult, but these are children of God also.
Amen. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Donna. I really appreciate your time.
You. Thank you.
I learned so much today and am really appreciative of the time Donna spent and her willingness to answer some of my questions. As you know, each episode I try and give you one simple thing to remember. Today's is one of the quotes Donna left us with. When you're looking at the face of someone with special needs, you're looking at the face of God. Love it. I just love it. Please share this episode with anyone you feel it would serve, or if you know a personal trainer who has a real heart for the special needs population, that would be another great person to share this episode with. Remember, all of the contact information is in the show notes. If you are over 40, like I am, and feel like you just need to move your body differently than you have in the past, I have good news for you. I am working on developing a video workout series of an ideal week of fitness over 40, because our bodies need different things than they did when we were younger, we'll just say. Sign up to be notified when it's released this fall at gracedhealth.com/fitness-over-40. And finally, just a reminder to subscribe to this podcast. This is actually the last episode. I will be doing some comprehensive show notes for a while, and I'm not emailing out any show notes for a couple months. So if you are on my list, if you have signed up at gracedhealth.com for updates, you will not be receiving those for probably about 2 months this summer, as I try and batch prep some stuff and take a little bit of time off and focus on some other projects. The next episode begins our Ask the Trainer season, where I answer questions I've received as a personal trainer and throughout my 15 years of experience in the fitness industry in 5 minutes or less, which, you know, if you've been listening to me, is going to be really hard for me to stick to 5 minutes, but I'm going to try my very best. Okay, thanks for joining me today. That is all for today. Go out there and have a great day.